Hello everyone, my name is Pixlriffs. Today we're going to do something that is not quite a tutorial. At the request of Corey, I'm taking a look at some chandelier designs. Now, a chandelier in Minecraft is kind of an interesting prospect because practical lighting in Minecraft is to stop mobs from spawning, but chandeliers are typically large and affixed to ceilings, so generally speaking they don't provide the most efficient lighting. So what we're really looking at here is a chandelier from an aesthetic perspective, and you've got to consider a certain practicality in it when it comes to the blocks you're using to light things. So, for example, a torch is going to produce a certain amount of light and is going to look fairly rustic. A jack-o'-lantern is going to produce a little bit more light, but doesn't necessarily look like the most ornate thing to have in a home. Glowstone produces the same amount of light as a jack-o'-lantern, but is obviously going to be a little bit difficult to obtain if you need to go to the nether or start a witch farm or something like that. A redstone lamp needs power, so there are practical considerations to be taken into account there. Redstone torches themselves actually produce a low amount of light, but not enough to really light a room effectively. Lava is very good at lighting stuff, but kind of difficult to control, and beacons are effective at lighting things as well. They put out just as much lighting as a redstone lamp or a torch, but are a little bit more difficult to acquire. One of the other major considerations is the environment, the surroundings. What kind of home is your chandelier in? This design is something I came up with for the TV station on Decidedly Vanilla, which has a very modern interior, and it's got a lot of very clean looking materials in it. It's got some clear glass and white glass panes. The sea lanterns are always going to be one of the cleanest, coolest kind of forms of lighting, and just a couple of simple fences attaching this to the wall, and quite a modern look. Modern design often has a lot of boxy shapes in it, so you don't need to worry too much about making this kind of chandelier curved. It's absolutely fine with just your standard Minecraft cubes, and I think that looks pretty good in the interior in the context of the TV station. More rustic looking chandeliers with wooden fences are pretty common, so common in fact that they actually generate as part of a stronghold library, so they're automatically generated in Minecraft, which kind of makes them like a canon chandelier if you like. But this is a design I came up with that is a little bit more complicated and takes advantage of the fact that you can actually drop armor stands through oak fences. I'll give you a quick example of this now. I'll grab some armor from these as well to show you. So if you put down a fence block like that, and then if you put an armor stand on top of it, it will actually fall through. If you put an armor stand on the block above it and then let it drop through, it actually sits there atop the fence in a kind of 1.5 block height that basically stops you from jumping over fences, that kind of invisible half block. So that can be used to our advantage when designing this chandelier, and you'll see what I've done here is put 2 blocks of fence down and then drop the armor stand over the top one, so it comes to rest on the half block above the bottom fence. If I took any of these fences out, the armor stand would just completely fall through. But here I've used it to stack up these armor stands and decorate them with chain armor to look a little bit more ornate. And then I've been able to place torches in them because you can still highlight the outer hitbox of this fence because it's connected to the one next to it. So you can still place torches on top of the fences, and those will actually go inside the armor stands as lighting. This would be fantastic with end rods in 1.9, but obviously I'm working in 1.8 right now and we don't have those. Also, brewing stands are quite good at making ornate looking chandeliers. They actually work pretty well as long as you don't put any potion bottles in them to make it look like they are actually a potion stand. That's a pretty good design. I quite like it. And the last thing here is the sign, and I didn't realise before that the sign itself would actually stick at the same height as the armor stand base plate, meaning the only thing that pokes through the bottom of there is the stand for the sign. So that adds an interesting little ornate detail to the bottom of this chandelier. And last but definitely not least, we have this kind of glitzy ballroom style design, and this is definitely a more classical design using a lot of glowstone and white stained glass to make it look as regal and elegant as possible, and you're going to want to mount this on your ceiling pretty high up. I've done it low to the ground here just so it's kind of in line with the rest of these, but this is definitely the kind of thing that you would mount to a ballroom ceiling as high up as possible so people can't see the texture in the glowstone as much because it tends to look a little bit rough, but the glass is going to dangle down and is going to look very, very pretty and kind of evokes more typical chandeliers that you'd see in stately homes and that kind of thing. The other interesting thing to note is that the shape of glass panes is going to change when 1.9 comes out. It's going to be a single rod down the middle instead of this X shape, which I think is actually going to make a lot of chandeliers look much more pretty and a little bit more ornate because that will look a little bit more like these glass panes that are attached to blocks. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope it's given you a bit of inspiration. My name has been Pixlriffs. Please leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye for now.